What's up, Shedmania guys? We are here in San Lorenzo and we are about to have a rough inspection for our beautiful shed here. So this is a 120 square foot shed and it is really close to the fence. As you can see, that's a 2-foot setback that the city has allowed us to put the shed in. And because it's so close to the setback, we have to put a fire rated wall. We have to build it. So in order for us to build a fire rated wall, what that means is we have to put a gypsum board on the outside as well as on the inside. I'll show you in a moment what we're getting an inspection for. The inspection is for the electrical and how the wall is mounted onto the concrete foundation that we have built. So let's go inside and check it out. Okay, now we're inside. We're gonna check out all the electrical before the inspector gets here. Now, take a look at everything that I'm pointing out. That way you have a clear idea when you do your own shed, this is what you need to do. Because electrical, whenever it's in the wall and it gets hidden by a sheetrock, you have to get this permitted. This is not just because the structure is under 120 square feet, doesn't mean that you get to get away putting all the electrical outlets and lights in it without having a permit. Now, some people will, and some other companies will tell you that does not require a building permit, but trust me, we've done 300 plus of these units, and cities require electrical permits whenever there is electrical being put in behind the wall and the people cannot see, because it can be a danger when somebody drives a screw into one of these walls. I'm gonna flip the camera around and start pointing out things for you guys. Enjoy. Okay, one of the most important things when you're doing electrical is to make sure your cables are stapled every 18 inches and it runs along the center of the stud. Reason being is when we start going back in here and covering this up with sheetrock screws, the sheetrock screws are 1 1/4 inch thick or deep. You don't want that to ever hit these wires and cause a short. Trust me on this. When you have to go and find a short because one of the nails or screws hit the wire, it is a big pain in the ass. Got it? Next, what we have are these wires that we ran up here through the top stud. The top plate, when it goes through and anything penetrates through that top plate, to our current building code, you have to make sure they're fire caulked. And you can see the orange fire foam that we've used on that hole where we penetrated through. And then we left the wires dangling. But another important part the inspectors will look at is that the wires do not touch the roof sheathing surface. The reason being is that whenever they need to redo the roofing, they don't want those nails ever touching those cables. Because then now you have to take the sheetrock off to correct that mistake when they redo the roof. So we use composite shingles, that way that in 10 years from now, 20 years from now, or if something falls on the roof and it's damaged, it can be repaired. And we don't want the repairing person to accidentally hit that wire. These are our canless lights that we use over here. So the canless light allows us to basically put the sheetrock on and then afterwards be able to put the light in. Now this isn't a living structure, so we use the R15, R13 insulation and the ceiling as well. The reason being is that when when they use a small space heater for this place, or a window air conditioner, or whatever option they go with, it's not a big space. It allows them to heat up the place, and knowing that there's insulation up there and in the walls, it doesn't take long to heat up or cool this place down. It's quite amazing how effective even just an R15 does. Now, technically, you can go higher and put thicker rafters up there and put in more insulation, but honestly, in a space this small, it does not make a big difference. Now, the big problem with putting a bigger space up there is now you lose the ceiling space. What's more important to you? Saving $1 or $2 a year on heating and cooling for this unit? Or would you rather have more headspace? Because remember, a lot of the cities have limitations on the height of the shed. So every inch you add up there in that ceiling rafter, you lose in the interior space. And trust me, it makes a big difference. The back wall here is 8 feet tall. Front wall here is 10. We need that slope. We need that height difference in order to create enough slope for shingles or roll roofing or metal roofing, whatever that our clients choose. We have that option instead of sticking to a much lower slope and only allowing our clients to get roll roofing. Got it? Things to remember: cables. Notice how when our cables are coming out of the electrical box, it is stapled, because per code it has to be before 18 inches. It must be stapled, so that's why they're stapled. Now my guys did a little bit excessive here. It's not a bad thing. They stapled here, but this is not required. Go from a wall penetration, you can go straight into that box, as long as the cable by itself isn't 18 inches. Also, these block off plates aren't necessarily required because the holes are in the center of the stud. However, we like to play it safe. If the client ever decides to put something on the wall that low and drives a screw through it, they're going to hit that plate, and it's going to take a lot of force to drive a screw past that block off plate. Alright guys, for our furnace inspection, you can see all our wires and all our cables are safely terminated and tucked away, so when they go in here with a sheetrock cutter, that they're not going to hit these screws, hit the wires. Inspectors love to see a tidy electrical box when they come in here, to make sure all the grounds are wired together. Our switch box here for a interior and exterior switch is ready, and we're ready to go, guys. The only thing that we would have to do now, once the inspection passes, foam these gaps to make sure that we insulate these windows properly. Oh, one thing I forgot. Electrical connection from the house. This is a permanent structure, which means that is why we need to get a permit. So, what do? It is a permanent from the house to the shed. In order for this to pass inspection, that trench has to be minimum 18 inches deep. So we have this covered so that our clients don't fall through the ground. But the depth of the electrical trench is deep, guys. That's what you have to do, because it is a permanently wired electrical connection. The other important part, this GFCI protects the shed. So when this breaker trips, or this outlet trips for the GFCI, it'll shut the whole shed down. And remember this important area, two important letters, WR. That is a weather damp rated or wet rated outlet. That's what's required for an exterior outlet. That's it guys for today. Next time, we'll come back here for the finished final inspection. Rock and roll. And the client can use it for whatever they want. What a perfect little space.